Howdy, 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 howdy. This is the Views Expressed right here for the 25th of October, 2012. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. I hope we're all having a great day. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Before I go to break here, because I want to, I'm not beholden to any networks, so hey, I'll just take a break whenever I feel like it. But anyway, hey, you are here. If you're a new listener, you are here at the Views Expressed. Again, I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. This is the Liberty and Freedom Network. If you have information or want to share some stuff with me, go ahead. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Or Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Or go to the website associated with the show. Check that out. Anyway, lots of stuff going on today. Lots of things. Tomorrow, for show notes, I will tell you, tomorrow, last week we didn't have her because, well, neither one of us were feeling pretty snappy. We were dealing with stuff. Tomorrow I will have Angel Clark from the Angel Clark Show. She'll be here for about a half hour, something of that nature. I have to email her and remind her. Just about a half hour. Get her take on the debates, get her take on, really on Obama and Romney's, what I am concerned with, and I'm sure a lot of people are, is their foreign policies. What do they plan on doing? Because the only reason why I say that is, or ask that, is because of the fact that here's, Benjamin Netanyahu wanting to invade Iran. And Iran is saying, whoa, wait a minute, let's talk. Just recently, last week, he was mentioning the fact that he wanted to sit down and have a gab fest over this stuff. Anyway, so I'm going to talk to her about that and a lot of other things and whatever is on her radar. And that's Angel Clark from the Angel Clark Show, radiofreedom.us, and sussexcountyangel.com. Go check out those websites for her. She'll be here tomorrow for about a half hour. So, if you want to get a hold of me, you can. You can email me directly at the show at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Lots of things going on today. Just a lot of stuff. I take all the information I find that is posted on Facebook. I put it on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, and I let you be the judge. That's pretty much what I do. I give you my opinion on what's going on. I show you exactly what's behind the scenes and who is controlling us and all of that, and we go from there. I'm not here to tell you what to do, when to do it, why to do it, or how to do it. I'm here to hopefully encourage you to do the research and find out on your own what is happening. Tomorrow I'm going to have Open Forum Friday, which means also that I'll have a way for you to call in, and I, after the break, will tell you how you can get a hold of me through Skype. So anyway, new things are happening at Spreaker, so stay tuned, and we will, I'll tell you more about that. But anyway, onward and upward to bigger and better things. I'm going to read some news. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check out the articles I have there, and we'll go from there. And this is The Views Expressed. I am Reverend Wayne S. Pierce on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. You were listening to The Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Are you looking for an alternative to your normal everyday radio? Well, check out KTRNradio.com. Jay Towers and Brian Keller bring you everything that you ever wanted to know, and even if you didn't want to know it. Go check out That Radio Show with your host, Jay Towers, and That DK Show with your host, Brian Keller, on KTRNradio.com. You want funny? You want entertaining? You want a belly full of laughs? And some seriousness, too. Come check out the J-Man Show right here on Spreaker.com. This is The Views Expressed. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network. Email us at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to The Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Yes, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Just want to tell you that tomorrow for about a half hour we'll have Angel Clark from The Angel Clark Show, radiofreedom.us, SussexCountyAngel.com on the show tomorrow. And we'll just get her take on what's happening around the country. Anyway, go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, if you would, please. Thank you. To all my California friends and family, vote yes on Proposition 37. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, if you do that, they're going to, it's going to cost 0.2 cents. 0.2% in taxes and blah, blah, blah. Let me read this to you. Mark Matthews over at abclocal.go.com. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Sacramento, California, KGO Radio. He says one of the propositions Californians will be asked to vote on this November is Proposition 37. While backers of the proposition say residents have the right to know whether what you eat has been genetically modified, opponents say it's an unnecessary expense that will drive up the cost of food. In a greenhouse at UC Davis, Kent Bradford, director of Seed Biotechnology Center, is working to develop a lettuce seed that will germinate in hot weather. He says a colleague is trying to produce rice that's better able to withstand drought and salt water, noting, quote, the difference it could make is enormous when you look at the global situation, unquote. According to Bradford, manipulating the genetic material in plants can help us cope with global warming and rising sea levels, unquote. Quote, we really need these tools to be able to keep up, unquote. Bradford fears Proposition 37's requirement of a label on genetically modified foods will scare consumers. He says it could also set back corporations that fund university research. Quote, 15 years, over 90% of our soybeans, 88% of our corn canola oil we eat has been produced using genetic engineering, and no one has ever gotten sick in any documented way related to that, unquote. Bradford calls Proposition 37 an unnecessary burden, but supporters say it's a right to know. Quote, this proposition takes the decision to the California voters, lets them decide, unquote, said Dave Murphy of Food Democracy Now! Murphy, a spokesman for Proposition 37, says it's pretty simple. Quote, if they're proud of their products, they should put a label on it, unquote. That's what Calgene did with their Flavor Saver tomato in the early 90s. Former Calgene employee Belinda Martineau showed ABC 7 News one of the labels. Quote, we had some opposition, but once the tomato made it to the grocery stores, they flew off the shelves. Martineau, I believe is how you pronounce her name, sorry. Sorry, Belinda, describes herself as a trained molecular geneticist and says she supports Proposition 37. Quote, that's how capitalism works, right? That's how capitalism works, right? You have your new and improved variety of something and you want to tell people about it, unquote. But the way the Yes on 37 campaign is telling people about genetically modified foods is to bring up past assurances that cigarette smoking, DDT, and even Agent Orange were nothing to worry about. Quote, to use a health and safety issue for a food safety issue to try to promote this, I find really disturbing from just the point of view of the science and the facts, unquote, Bradford said. Ads opposed to Proposition 37 point out the labeling would apply only to some products. Restaurant food, cheese, meat from animals that have eaten genetically modified feed are all exempt. Quote, the real intent of this initiative is not to label everything in the food system to actually provide basic information on the products that contain the most genetically engineered ingredients, unquote. Murphy said. The Yes on 37 campaign points to Europe, where GMO labeling is required, and asks why Californians can't have the same right. Well, this year, BASF, a German chemical company, announced it is ceasing production of genetically modified crops for the European market. The reason? Nobody's buying them. Get a clue. Really. Thank you, Mark, over there at KGO in Sacramento. Appreciate that. I'm going to analyze this. First of all, genetically modified foods. Oh, there's no danger. Nobody's been hurt. Blah, blah, blah. Yada, yada, yada. Really? Really? Okay. Do you know what the word bioaccumulate means? Yeah, I mean, you eat meat and you eat, stuff like that, and these, let's just say the cows and all that, they eat the genetically modified, plants and all that, and the corn and the wheat, the whole nine yards, and the bread made with, the wheat. It bioaccumulates. It builds up, basically, is what it does. So after 10, 12, 20 years of eating genetically modified food, you're going to get sick. Okay? Here, let me put a little rat poison in your cereal. Just a little speck of rat poison, and let me keep doing that for 20 years or more. You're going to get sick, period. I believe in labeling all foods that have been genetically modified. Hey, I want to know what you put in my food, because it's all these foods that you eat come off a corporate farm, not a family farm, okay? Well, we have to have them, we have to have preservatives in there and stuff in there to keep them on the shelves in the store for, a week or so, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Really? And then some opponents would say, well, if we didn't have, labeling, and you wouldn't know what was in the food. And if we didn't genetically modify it, it wouldn't stay on the shelves that long. And costs would go up because you'd have to dispose of it all and all this. Well, okay, I can understand that point too. But the fact of the matter is that it's not just genetically modified food. Okay? It's everything else. It's already been proven in labs in the mid 70s to the late 70s, early 80s that scientists can manipulate the genetics in plants. That's why they can manipulate now in the mid 90s, early 2000s. They can manipulate genetically each cell in your body. Okay? Now they're going to have plants that are going to have, people are now saying no to vaccines. Well, now if they just put it into plants and genetically modify it for that, then you eat it and then you got your vaccine without you even knowing about it. Now, I know that's far-fetched. I know, but it's on record. People have done this. They've worked to put this in place. So it's important to understand what you're eating. It really is. If you want to know what you're eating, grow your own garden. You can do that, by the way. It's not against the law. Well, it's fuzzy. Let's put it that way. It's not against the law because S510 was voted down in the Senate, I believe, but then put as a rider in another agriculture bill through the House. And, of course, the president signed it. And voila, it is now illegal for you to grow a vegetable garden or a food garden on your own property. Oh, by the way, you don't own your own property. Yeah, sure, you get your mortgage paid off, but you only own the building. You don't own the land because you're paying taxes on it every year. You're paying rent to the government. But getting back to the food, if you're able to know what's in that food, would you eat it? If you knew that even some of the organic stuff has genetically modified food in it, compare. I encourage you to compare. Go to your local everyday mom and pop grocery store down on the corner or wherever it is. Look at the fresh fruits. Look at the stuff. Go out into the countryside to these side of the road food stands. These, because they do sell stuff there, and they haven't been shut down. Not all of them. And go compare that. Take an apple or a banana or some fruit, and take it to one of the big major stores in your city, like Rayleigh's or Scolari's or Walmart or something, and go and compare it. And if you have the time, go home and compare it. You know what I mean? What does it taste like? How does it look? What is, all that. And you will see that there is a difference between what I call homegrown food that you feed your family with and the corporate farms that put all that crap in it to put it on the shelf in the stores. Go check it out. I encourage you to do that. Every so often, I'm going to pause and take some water, like right now. I got something going on in my ears. I got the going on in my ears. I don't think it has anything to do with earwax. I think there's something else wrong. But anyway, I had a little personal stuff there, Hey, if you want to get a hold of us here at the show, you can. It's okay. We'd like to hear from you. I get notification from Spreaker that people are listening. Okay, and I don't see anybody in the chat room. I don't see anybody coming to the chat room. So if you're in the chat room, if you're listening, pop in the chat room, say, hi, I'm listening, or, tell me whatever, because I'd like to hear from you. But if you want to email the show, you can. It's libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. Would love to hear from you. If you have an article or something that you want me to take a look at, use that email address, libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. And I'll check it out. Yeah. Hey, I put up a podcast earlier and I was going to take a break now, but I'll take one at the bottom of the hour. I put up a podcast earlier, and really, it was a general overview, and I hit some specifics, and I mentioned names and all that. Well, I want to, until the bottom of the hour, give you highlights of my podcast that I put up. It was called Hit Pieces in Critical Perspective. And I want to say that there's a lot of people who seem to think that they can go out and expose people for what they do and all this, that, and the other thing. And I have to tell you this. I have to ask you a question seriously, and that is why? Why? Why do you want to go to an organization or to a person and what I call guerrilla journalism and just get right up in their face and, ask them all these questions and try to get them to trip up and say something, or why are you trying to expose them, or any number of things? Why? All it's going to do is make me, as I said in the podcast, is make me going to look at you and question your integrity and give me the impression that you're a very unethical person. That's all it's going to do, So when I present, what I present here on the show, I tell you straight up, okay? I gather information and news articles. I put them up on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. I let you be the judge. I tell you about the stories. I read them. I thank the people. I give, the people credit who wrote them and the organizations that wrote them, because it's not my article, But there are people out there who are just going to take and for instance, I'll put this out here. I've heard people talk about different, various churches and various religious organizations, and I've heard them criticize them, and I've listened to them, and my question is, do you know anything about them? Well, no, I've just heard. Yeah, you heard. You heard it from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th, 20th, 50th hand. I went to the website, and how much of that website did you read? Well, I only read like the first paragraph or two or whatever. Yeah, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. You don't know a thing about that organization. You know nothing. That's like me taking a book, as I said in my podcast. It's like me taking a book like Mark Twain and reading the first 2 chapters and saying, well, okay, I know everything about this book. I don't have to read the rest. No, I don't. I don't know anything about the book. Matter of fact, honestly, I've never read Mark Twain or Tom Sawyer or anything like that. I'm being honest. I haven't read it. But I'm giving you an analogy. And the fact is, if you don't know anything about anything, don't say anything. You have no right to criticize anybody for anything you don't know anything about. That's why I tell people, if you have information and you want to share that with me, please do. Or if you think that my information is full of crap and you have absolutely nothing to back that up with, I'm not going to waste my time with you. I'm not. That's why I tell people, prove yourself right. I always get the response, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Yes, you do. You have to prove it to yourself. It's logic. It's common sense. So, and I'm going to call somebody out. I really am. And, I've been watching, not watching, but I've been hearing, and I've watched a few, videos on YouTube from Mark Dice. And he's really pissed off at, and has a problem with Alex Jones now and all this and all that. And basically, let me tell you what I see and the impression I get from his little feud, from Mark Dice's little feud with Alex Jones. Here's my impression. He got pissed off, and Mark Dice got pissed off at Alex Jones for not, doing what he wanted done, right? What Mark wanted done. So he picked up his ball and went home. He's a big baby. He whined and griped and left. I mean, that's all it was. I'm using that as a metaphor. But today I saw a video, or part of a video, where he was criticizing the Church of Scientology Celebrity Center in L.A. And he asked one of the guards there, a question. Just an honest, simple question. And the security guard, the guard there, whatever, said, well, I'll answer it, but you have to put your camera down. He goes, I can't do that. You have no reasonable expectation of privacy, the Supreme Court said, and he went and recited some of the Supreme Court findings. And the guard said, well, okay, I'll answer your question, but you're going to have to, would you put the camera down? And Mark Dice 3 times said, no, I'm not. And so, I didn't see the whole video because I had to get ready for this show, but I look at this situation, and this is true with any church. This is true with any religious organization. I've heard people tell me that the church that I'm affiliated with, which is Universal Life Church in Modesto, California, is, oh, you don't want to go there, blah, blah, blah. Here's my point. If you don't know anything about anything, don't say anything. That's my point. I've had people criticize me up one side and down the other, and I looked at them after they ranted and got pissed off and yelled and, told me that I was an idiot and whatever. I would stop them and say, well, let me ask you a question. They go, okay, what is it? And I said, do you know anything about, what I was talking about at the time? And they looked at me and said, well, I just heard and I just know and all that. Well, you know what? You don't. You're a waste of my time. You don't know anything about anything. You shouldn't say anything. And that's just the way it is. You're a waste of my time. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. And that's the way I feel. If Mark Dice or anybody, I don't care who it is, wants to criticize me for something they don't understand, you have to prove yourself right. Period. End of sentence. You don't like it? If you don't know anything about anything, don't say anything. It's as simple as that. Anyway, that's part of my podcast, but I just wanted to follow up on it. And that was earlier. It's a podcast called Hit Pieces and Critical Perspectives. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Write a little comment down there. You can email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I'd like to hear from you. I really would. That's my personal email address for the show, by the way. If you want to email the show, it's libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. This is the views expressed on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. You were listening to the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Are you looking for an alternative to your normal everyday radio? Well, check out KTRNradio.com. Jay Towers and Brian Keller bring you everything that you ever wanted to know, and even if you didn't want to know it. Go check out That Radio Show with your host, Jay Towers, and That BK Show with your host, Brian Keller, on KTRNradio.com. You want funny? You want entertaining? You want a belly full of laughs? And some seriousness too. Come check out the J-Man Show right here on Spreaker.com. is the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network. Email us at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. That's Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com, or email me directly here at the show at freeamericaradio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Welcome to the views expressed right here for the 25th of October, 2012. Thank you for being here. If you're listening to this on Spreaker, go ahead and drop into the chat box there on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Let me know you're there, because I really would like to know, because I'm getting notifications that people are listening to the show, but I don't see them in the chat room. So anyway, hey, how y'all doing? It's Thursday, the 25th of October, 2012. 6 more days before Halloween, and we have, I don't know, it's kind of strange to me. You know, let me go in a different direction. Usually this show is about, I'm anti-New World Order, I'm pro-Constitution, I am a patriot, I will stand up for the truth and the facts. Truth has no agenda, as Glenn Beck would say. And I go from there. But let me go in a different direction. And I know before the break I talked about hit pieces and critical perspectives, and I summed it up of a podcast I did earlier today. And you may want to go listen to that. But let me go in a different direction. You know, I was listening to JD and Sonny over there at Mobster Boss Radio and earlier today, and I found that I want to talk about entertainment, because I grew up in an era of George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. I mean, I grew up with listening to these people, and I found that when you entertain people, you have this tendency of pushing the envelope. Well, JD, Sonny, Lester, and Guy over there at mobsterbossradio.com, they push the envelope. They do. Okay? I mean, they're pushing the envelope. Okay? If I would say for them that they are the Howard Sterns of Spreaker, and there's 4 of them. Howard Stern can, he's a man of his own, and he can carry his own, show, and he does. But these 4, and I've heard all their shows, and I got to tell you, if you don't like it, you don't have to listen. Okay? If you don't like their show, you don't have to listen. I mean, that's the thing. It is, for some, it is entertaining. For others, I'm sure that it could be offensive to some. It could be, there could be, some controversy. You know what I mean? But overall, I mean, they're really, from what I understand, they're really good people. They're like everybody else. They're doing this on Spreaker for the love of doing it. They have, backgrounds in radio and in broadcasting. From what I understand, I mean, their show is I'm pumping up their show, yes. Their show is, I would say, controversial. They have talked about Spreaker cheaters. I want to get into that a little bit later here in this segment. They talk about, you name it, they talk about it. And I thought that, you know, I thought I was holding back. They don't. JD, Sonny, Guy, and Lester over there at mobsterbossradio.com, they're just, go check out their show. It's on Spreaker, and you can go check out the show. Mobster Boss Radio Live on Spreaker. You can go to their website, mobsterbossradio.com. Very interesting show. And going back to, I mentioned them because I want to go back to critical perspective and hit pieces and stuff like that. And I just want people to know that if you listen to 5 minutes of their show and they're cussing and they're ranting and they're doing this and they're doing that, you may go, oh, that's not my show and I don't want to listen to it. But did you listen to the next minute? Did you listen to them after their break? Did you listen to any more of the show? Well, no, I just know from the first 5 minutes how that show's going to be. Really? See, I went back to that Mark Twain, Tom Sawyer, book where if you only read the first 2 chapters and you say you know the whole book and you don't because you never read it, you see where I'm going with this? Yeah, so I don't pick on them, but I use them as an example. JD, Sonny, Lester, Guy, you guys are great. I've listened to your shows. I mean, I'll tell you right now that if people don't like it, they don't have to listen. That's just the way it is. Okay. It's okay. I'd like to call into the show and talk to you guys. And you can call into my show, too. I mean, you've got my information. So, anyway, if people just want to go out and slam other people just because, you're in my way, get out of my way. If you just want to slam other people, you got a problem. You got a huge problem. They criticize Jay Towers over at KTRNradio.com. I mean, they criticize him. And I'm like, what? I mean, if you put it to rest, if you just let it go, turn the page and go, okay, I'm going over here now. I don't want to listen to that. That's okay. You can do that. But if you keep bringing it up and bringing it up and bringing it up and harping on it, it shows me there's a problem. Okay? It shows me there's a problem. See, I don't criticize anybody for their shows, but I point out that in certain areas it could get better if, you know what I mean? My show could get better. I'm planning on having more guests on my show to get other people's perspective on things. If you want to be a guest on the show, email the show at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. There are certain things that I look for. And those things are real simple. I look for quality of a show. If I listen to like 5 minutes of the show and I like it, then chances are I'm going to listen to it again. I look for quality. I look for content. And that's big. That's big with me. My show here, it's just me, talking about the news that's out there, talking about what I put up on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. I describe the news. I let you know what it is. I let you know my take on it. That's my content. And it seriously, quality and content make a show. But then also what makes a show is the responses you get either in email or on the show or the listeners or the plays or whatever. And, the responses from people really set the mark for your show. Okay, this leads me into talking about Spreaker cheaters. And I know Spreaker listens because I've got inside information as far as knowing the fact that Spreaker people over in San Francisco, where their headquarters are, and the company is, listen. So I'm going to specifically say to them, thank you for listening, but you need to do more. Okay? You need to, and I know this might sound controversial, but you need to take the people that are causing problems and get rid of them. Just delete their shows, ban them from the whole area. You know what I mean? And because there's other places out there other than you guys. Spreaker dudes, hey, there's other people out there. Blog Talk Radio, TalkShoe, there's other, Podbean.com. I mean, everybody can put up whatever they want anywhere. So you're not the only game in town there, folks. So you need to do something to make this a quality product that you offer your hosts, that you offer listeners, that you give to people. I mean, we're paying for this. Okay, Spreaker folks. Hello, management over there at Spreaker. Over here, we're paying for this. So we don't want jerk-offs getting on our show somehow and screwing things up with Spreaker cheat software or whatever, whatever it is. You need to get rid of those folks. Period. End of sentence. Now, the content, Spreaker people, the content is our content. It's our my show is copywritten. By the way, any court in the world, any court in the United States, under the copyright law, will tell you that whatever I write down on paper, whatever I record on whatever recording device there is, including this, is copywritten. Okay, any court in the world will tell you that. Go talk to your lawyers. Hello, I know the law. Okay, because I'm an entertainer and this is what I do and I write songs. I know I had to look into this. So I'm not some dumb schmo off the street just doing a show. But Spreaker people, the content, everybody can do whatever they want. You got sports programs on here, you got music on here, you've got talk shows on here, you got all kinds of stuff. The content is what the quality of the show and the content of the show make the show. Okay, going back to Mobster Boss Radio, if you're into that type of entertainment and that type of content, is it quality? Well, from their point of view and to the people that listen to it, yes. So I don't have a problem with that. Okay, it's just not my cup of tea. The cussing, the talking, sexual talk, all that, that's not my cup of tea. That's not what I talk about. That's not where, I gear my thoughts. Okay, when I do a show. I have two other shows on here. One is called the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, which is usually Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. And I have the Unnamed Show with my other host, Laura Clemens. And we talk about everything under the sun as well on both those shows. But we don't get into, anything that's really, sexual or overtly, controversial. We just don't. This is the only controversial show I have, the views expressed live here on that I broadcast on Spreaker. But the thing is, and even Spreaker people, listen to what I'm saying, and even Mobster Boss Radio and other shows here on Spreaker as well. The responses tell you and should be the gauge for your show. I don't, and anybody who says, anybody who cheats their numbers or however they do it, to me is very unethical. And I question their integrity. Okay? Seriously. Bottom line. I mean, have somebody come to you and defraud you in some way and cheat you in some way. You feel like crap, don't you? But that other person has a problem. So anybody that defrauds, anybody that cheats their numbers or whatever, it's a total douchebag. Okay, I'm telling you right now, bottom line, douchebag number one, because you have no ethics and you have no integrity whatsoever. Okay, I don't even know how to do any of that stuff. Okay, I barely know HTML. Okay, when I work on my website, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know how to do any of that. And Spreaker people, Spreaker dudes, tech gurus over there, let me tell you something. You need to be 100% on top of all the information that comes in there, okay? You need verification on top of verification so that you know who we are. And I will call you directly if I had a number and give you my information, okay? Anyway, there are certain things, and to wrap this whole segment up, there are certain things that people do. There are certain not segments, well, that too, but there are certain things that people do on their show that, well, to me, is a little unnerving and a little disturbing. But you know what? It's their show. I have no right to tell them how to produce their show. Okay? I don't. But the thing is that the quality of your show and the content of your show make the show what it is. And the responses that you get should be, if they're not already, a gauge as to how that show is doing. Do I care who listens to my show? Yes, I do. Do I care if I'm number one on the list on the Spreaker? Not really. Because I'm not out for the popularity. I'm out to do what I love to do because it's a labor of love that I do this, and I enjoy doing what I do. And some people would say, well, that's a bunch of bull because everybody wants to be number one. No, no. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I hope that people enjoy my show. I hope they download it and listen to it later. I hope they, listen to the podcast. I hope they do. You can also find this show on YouTube. I mean, come on. I've got 11,000 listeners, okay? Or not listeners, I have 11,000 plays, let's put it that way. Something like that, I don't know. The numbers don't really concern me, okay? I do know that I have over 4,000 followers, so kind of put two and two together, folks, okay? Does it matter to me? Yeah, I'd like to have people listen to my show, but if they want to unfollow me, it doesn't matter. Because if this show is not their cup of tea, then they don't have to listen. I'm with Mobster Boss Radio on that one. I'm with JD and Lester and Guy and Sonny on this one. If you don't like the show, don't listen. That's just the way it is. Unfollow me, okay? That's just the way it is. But I enjoy doing it. It's a labor of love. And you go to the website, and if you want to support the show, you can, because I got a book over there called Many Directions of Man. You can check that out. It's on the right-hand side of the webpage. On the left-hand side of the page, down at the bottom, you can donate to keep my show up and running, to keep the website up and running as well. You can do that if you want. That's cool. I appreciate that. Also, on the tabs on the left-hand side, you will see a store tab. So you click the store and you can promote your patriotism there by buying stuff. And all that does is keep the website up and keep the show up and running and all that. So, hey, whatever you can do to be of help and to be of support, remember that the quality of the show and the content of the show make it what it is. And if you like my show, awesome. I'll give you a virtual high five. Appreciate it. Whatever support you can give, I really do appreciate that. Thank you. But anyway, I'm going to take a break, get out of here, go to the next segment. If you want to follow along, please do over at Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. And check out all the articles there that I'm going to be talking about for the next hour. But anyway, this is the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we will see you in a bit. Be right back. Are you looking for an alternative to your normal everyday radio? Well, check out KTRNradio.com. Jay Towers and Brian Keller bring you everything that you ever wanted to know even if you didn't want to know it. Go check out That Radio Show with your host, Jay Towers, and That VK Show with your host, Brian Keller, on KTRNradio.com. What's the word on the street? There's only one place you can get that question answered. Mobster Boss Radio. How do you deal with people? Your questions and more will be answered on Mobster Boss Radio. Come join JD and Sonny and Lester on Mobster Boss Radio and find out what they think about the world around them. Go to www.mobsterbossradio.com.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Do you wear your sunglasses at night? Well, maybe you do some other crazy things too. Why not add The Sandy Fox Show to your list? You can find me on Spreaker.com, Icecast.org, and TuneIn.com. Fox out.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can watch you weave and breathe your storylines.
You're listening to The Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network. Yes, you are. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, The Views Expressed, right here for the 25th of October 2012. This is a short segment. Another break at the top of the hour, so stay tuned. We shall hang out with you for the next 6 minutes, and we'll go from there. So anyway, hey, if you want to follow along, you can. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check out all the stories that I'll be talking about. I already talked about Proposition 37, raises questions of food labeling in California, so that's Proposition 37. Also, another article I'm going to talk to you about is from thenewamerican.com. Those folks over there, thank you. NSA, the National Security Administration, we will illegally spy on citizens only when absolutely necessary, which is 24 hours a day, 365 days a week. Also, a lot of pictures I've got over there. There's one picture with a hand, and it says, we are a brainwashed generation. And it says 10 reasons to cancel cable now. Besides, who wants cable? Everything's on the internet. You got Netflix, you got Hulu, you got all those. So what the hell? Why do you need cable? Also, a book that I have not read yet by G. Edward Griffin called The Creature from Jekyll Island. You'll see that up there as well. And it gives a little synopsis of that. Also, there's I was talking about controversy earlier, and it's you might want to check this out. If you use any of these 4 words online, your name will turn up on this tracking website. Click on that link there on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook and check that one out. Also, the truth about fusion centers from cato.org. There's a link there. Ted Turner, hey, the founder of CNN and all that, and the former Mr. Jane Fonda. Ted Turner says, quote, I think it's good U.S. troops are killing themselves. That's from federaljack.com. You can also find that on infowars.com. Also, GM wheat, genetically modified. Remember I was talking about that earlier. Genetically modified wheat may permanently alter human genome, spark early death. So we need to get we need to get Monsanto, we need to get the corporate farms put out of business, grow your own food on your own land, on your own farms. We need to get all of this out of the way. Also on the InfoWars site, you might want to check the archives if you're a member over there of prisonplanet.tv. But this was also up on the Intel Hub. National Guard whistleblower, doomsday preppers will be treated as terrorists. This has come out in all of the Army manuals and everything else. Ron Paul supporters, veterans, coming home and all that. There's also a video up there on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Am I free to go? There's a video there. Also another video, how they fake terrorism, manufactured fear. The final draft. Also, Boston police accused of spying on protesters and intimidating dissidents. Okay, so you got that going on. Also, HR 645. FEMA camps. Gonna talk about that. I got a little something. There's something up there as well about FEMA camps. Also, the GOP candidate, Connie Mack, says, quote, United Nations should be kicked off of American soil. Boy, I agree with that. Also, you'll see a picture up there. It says, why does the AARP support Obama? Because they stand to make billions in extra premiums selling supplemental insurance to plug the holes left in Medicare. Okay? So we're looking at all of that. I may not get to that, in the hour that we have, but I will get to most of it. So if you want to call in tomorrow on Open Forum Friday, and if you have Skype, please, please Skype me. Go to contacts, put in ULCREV 62, ULCREV 62, and I'll connect you up and all that, and we'll go from there. And when I come back from this break, I'll tell you some other ways to get a hold of me for Open Forum Friday. We'll have Angel Clark from the Angel Clark Show on the show tomorrow for about a half hour. Her website is radiofreedom.us and sussexcountyangel.com. So we'll have her on tomorrow on Open Forum Friday. And like I said, when I get back from the break, I'll let you know. This is the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting on Spreaker.com. Do you want liberty-minded radio? There's no other straightforward radio you will ever hear than The Angel Clark Show. Join Angel Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern at www.radiofreedom.us. That's The Angel Clark Show, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern at radiofreedom.us. Listen to The Sandy Fox Show, playing a variety of music including rock, pop, and country. The Sandy Fox Show is a production of the Force Radio Network. You can find her and all of the great FRN shows on Spreaker.com, Icedcast.org, and by searching for Force Internet Radio on TuneIn.com. You can also find great mobile apps on TuneIn.com to take the live shows and replays with you. The Force Radio Network. Real radio for real people. want more entertainment value than your dollar can buy you at the movies? Listen to the Chris Top Program on Spreaker.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host Michael Long. The show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a journey into light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/eastlandfilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. This is The Views Expressed. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, right here live on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting on Spreaker.com for the 25th of October, 2012. Hey, someone just dropped into my chat room there on Spreaker. Hello, Samo from Samo Radio, right there on Spreaker.com. Go check out his show. Lots of music, lots of discussions. Go check it out. Samo Radio on Spreaker.com. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Hey, somebody else in the chat room, Matthew in the chat room on Spreaker. Just want to let y'all know that we got a lot of news out there. For me, I'll tell you what. I want to just hit up this subject for a second. The debates, okay? Let me tell you something. I've heard it all. I've heard Ryan and Biden and Obama and Romney. Believe me, okay? If you have the information that I have, they're both puppets. Actually, all four of them are. Because, hey, the elites have bought them off through the banking cartel that now runs the United States of America through policies given to them by, dun-dun-dun, the United Nations. Don't believe it? Go look it up. Want to follow along? You can do that. You can also email me at libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com, libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. Thank you very much for being here. And you can follow along at Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. And the article that I got staring me in the face right here is NSA. We will illegally spy on citizens only when absolutely necessary. Oh, doesn't that just make you feel so much better? I mean, seriously. I mean, doesn't it make you feel so much better? Excuse me, a little something going on there. Now, I want to say before reading this article that I don't want anybody spying on me, okay? But they are. You got a cell phone, you got a camera on it, they're spying on you. You got a webcam on your laptop or on your Apple right there in front of you on your screen, or you got a webcam connected to your PC, take it off, plug it up, whatever, put tape over it. They're watching you. Okay? By the way, look this up. Okay, please, because it's only going to help you. I'm just saying. Okay. Bluffdale, Utah, I believe is what it is. Bluffdale or something. A big $2 billion NSA facility there that takes all of your data from your texting, from your cell phones, from your phone calls, from the internet, from everything, and stores them. It's there. Okay? It's there. NSA facility in Utah. You can look it up that way. From thenewamerican.com, it says here, NSA, we will illegally spy on citizens only when absolutely necessary. Yeah. Again, warm and fuzzies today, folks. Hello, Matthew, over there at the Spreaker chat. All right. Hey, Sam. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that, Samo. Appreciate that very, very much. He just said something there. I'm just replying. Going back to the article, the National Security Agency says Americans should trust them to use their surveillance powers only for good. This from a group whose leader refused to say how many Americans they are spying on because it was, quote, beyond the capacity of his office, and dedicating sufficient additional resources would likely impede the NSA's mission, unquote. That's a long way of saying we're not going to tell you, and it doesn't matter. Seriously. Continuing, in other words, the NSA is too busy illegally recording our private emails, text, Facebook posts, and phone calls to figure out how many of us are already caught in their net. And furthermore, there is nothing Congress can do about it. Apparently, NSA thinks it's beyond the court's oversight as well. In a motion to dismiss a class action suit challenging the nearly unlimited scope of the domestic surveillance agency's monitoring of citizens' electronic communication, attorneys for the Obama administration argued that it would use the authority granted it under the Terrorist Surveillance Program. Check that one out. Go look that one up. Terrorist Surveillance Program only when, quote, absolutely necessary, unquote, and that disclosing the information requested would require it to reveal protected state secrets. Okay. Continuing. The plaintiffs in the case, Jewel versus NSA, are a group of AT&T customers who accuse the NSA, former President George W. Bush, and Dick Cheney, among others, of illegally using, quote, a shadow network of surveillance devices to acquire the content of a significant portion of phone calls, emails, instant messages, text messages, web communications, and other communications, unquote. Originally filed in 2008 by the Electronic Frontier Foundation on behalf of the plaintiffs, the suit, quote, is aimed at ending the NSA's dragnet surveillance of millions of ordinary Americans and holding accountable the government's officials who illegally authorized it. Okay, it's a lengthy article, folks, so let me read a little bit more here and give you a little something additional to chew on. Continuing, on January 21st, 2010, U.S. District Court Judge Vaughn Walker granted a motion to dismiss filed by the Obama administration. Upon appeal, however, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals on December 29th, 2011, overturned the lower court's decision and remanded the case to district court for a hearing on the merits. In July of 2012, EFF moved to have the court declare that the Federal Information Security Amendments Act, FISA, applies instead of the state secrets privilege. In response, NSA reaffirmed its state secrets defense. NSA attorneys in their motion claim that disclosing the requested information would threaten the security of the United States. Go check out that article. Click on the link on Liberty and Freedom Network. We will illegally spy on citizens only when absolutely necessary. Folks are doing it continually. They don't care. They never have cared. They never will care. They're spying on you. Okay. Now, I'm just looking at the chat here at Spreaker. Hey, Matthew, how you doing? Yes, Samo, you are absolutely 100% correct. I am the only producer, writer, and all that for the show. If you want to get a hold of me, again, my direct email to the show is freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Yeah, NSA is spying on you all the time. Everywhere you go, whatever it is you do, whenever you pick up your brain tumor creating cell phone, yeah, they're tracking you, okay? By the way, I was going to get into that article about the brain tumor creating cell phone. It was a European doctor and research group that found out that this 60-year-old man had brain tumor caused by the cell phone. But, well, he was on it for 6 hours a day for 12 years. So, yeah, you put anything that's going to bake your brain next to your head, after a while, it's not going to be pretty. And, of course, musician and singer Sheryl Crow says her cell phone gave her brain cancer. Or brain something or other, a tumor, I don't know. But anyway, what I say is use hands-free. Get the thing away from your head. Use hands-free. Use this. Some smartphones have a speaker phone on it. You can just use that. Go ahead. I mean, I don't know. It's nuts. But NSA is listening to you at all times. At all times. Yes, Matthew, it is creepy. I found out many, many years ago, back in the mid-'90s, when I was doing some research, that back then it was the CIA. Now it's, I don't know who it is, the NSA, CIA, the United Nations. Everybody's listening to you. And I always wondered, this is my question I had back then, I've always wondered why. Why do they want to hear whatever it is I'm talking about? But now go look under a couple of years ago, there was this report put out, the MIAC report, the MIAC report, the MIAC report. Go look that up. Also look up the Telecommunications Act of 1996. I have it on my computer. I don't have it in front of me. But look up NSA spying on American citizens. And you'll find all sorts of information. all sorts of information. Yes, it is the creep factor. You know what I mean? I remember back in when I was, first learning how to drive when I was a teenager. Of course, that was many years ago. I remember in my hometown of Stockton, California, they started putting up cameras on the lights. Remember that? On the stoplights? And I knew then, yeah, they're spying on you. Now you can't go anywhere without seeing a camera. Walk through your mall, walk through your store, and wherever you go, walk through Walmart, doesn't matter. There's cameras on you, okay? You can also drive outside of town. You can go to close to the border of your state. You'll find TSA, DHS with the checkpoints all over the place, And some people say, oh, that's just, No, over here, I live in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. That's what they claim. That's their big claim. And when I go west to California, I got to hit this little agricultural inspection station, okay? And, yeah, there's cameras all over the place. And there's also highway patrol sitting out there, okay? It's it does get, there's a creep factor to it, okay? You can't do anything. Almost. But people are fighting back, and that's my point. We need to stand up and say enough's enough. We were driving around here one day in Reno, and we were going out paying bills. We got to do that every so often. And we saw, I don't know about you, Sam, where you live, or Matthew, but there were Federal Protective Service trucks, SUVs, with Homeland Security Police on the side. Okay, we saw that here in Reno, Nevada. Okay. Why are they here? I don't know. Okay, why are they in the city? I have no clue. Okay. Also, by the way, from someone that I had emailed, told me that the Reno National Guard base is at the Reno International Airport. Okay. I drove around that airport, and let me tell you, there's some areas near the airport beyond the fences, right, that look like they're remodeling and putting something in and new quote-unquote warehouses or something of that nature. Can you say mini FEMA camp? Because, I don't know. So the creep factor, yes, it's there. They're spying on us. They know it. I'm looking at the Spreaker chat. Yes, you are right. Nevada. Yes, we got cat houses over here, and prostitution is legal in those cat houses. Yes, they are. Just FYI. But if you're, if you're putting it out on the street, no, you get arrested. Odd? Yeah. But there you go. So anyway. That was good for a laugh, Sam. Thank you. Appreciate it. Going to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Take a little bit of tea here. You can go to and scroll down the page, and you'll see 10 reasons to cancel your cable now. Check that out. Here's a book that you might want to look up, and I think it's in PDF. You can just download it off the internet or go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or something. It's called The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin. A second look at the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, by the way, if you don't already know, for my new listeners, is a private bank created by the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all of those folks back prior to Woodrow Wilson's administration in 1913. They basically twisted President Wilson's arm, metaphorically speaking, and had him sign the Internal Revenue Act and the Federal Reserve Act into law, creating the Federal Reserve Bank and creating the Internal Revenue Service, the biggest collection agency on the face of the planet. And that's why we're all screwed every year, okay? Yeah, they loaned out, the Federal Reserve loaned out the money for World War I and World War II and every other war we've been illegally in since then. And we pay that back through our taxes. And just FYI, you don't own your home. Okay, the United Nations, through other banking facilities and other groups, now own your home through certain executive orders that President Obama has signed, and the military can just come right into your house and do whatever. They'll just take you away, and it's theirs now. And you pay your property taxes every year, and basically what you're doing is you're renting your property. Yes, because you're paying money to the government every year. You're renting your property. So there you go. The Creature from Jekyll Island, G. Edward Griffin. You can find that everywhere. Now, scroll on down on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. You will see if you use any of these 4 words online, your name will turn up on this tracking website. You know what those 4 words are? I'm going to tell you. Those 4 words are faggot, so gay, no homo, and dyke. Okay? And if you use those 4 words online, your name will turn up on this tracking website. And I'll tell you what the tracking website is. It's called nohomophobes.com. Phobes being Phobes. Nohomophobes.com. That's where it will go. As of October 11th, their little thing here says, October 11th, 2012 to October 17th, 2012, the word faggot has been used 223,000 times. The word no homo has been used 95,000 times, so gay 74,000 times, and dyke 29,000 times. So, yeah. Talking about tracking people, yeah, there you go. Okay? You think the NSA has your number? No, I don't think so. I think it's I think it's worse than that, really. Oh my. Oh my. Anyway, Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Scroll on down. You'll see The Truth About Fusion Centers from the Cato Institute, the daily podcast over there. It's also up on Spreaker. I loaded it up there as well. And it's very informative. You got to check it out. The Truth About Fusion Centers. Okay? Of course, 2 things that I want to talk about. Ted Turner, the former owner of CNN, the founder of Cable News Network many, many years ago, says, and I quote, "I think it's good U.S. troops are killing themselves." From federaljack.com. Paul Joseph Watson wrote this article. It's also up at Infowars.com. But he writes, during an appearance on CNN's Piers Morgan tonight, Ted Turner said he thinks it's good that U.S. soldiers are killing themselves because it shows humanity has evolved to a distaste for war. That's what he said. Asked what he thought about the fact that more American soldiers commit suicide than are killed in combat, host Morgan said it was shocking, but Turner responded, "No, I think it's good." Turner went on to argue that it was time for people to start acting, quote-unquote, enlightened, and that this was why it was, quote-unquote, good. U.S. soldiers are committing suicide in large numbers because it shows an aversion to war. I'm not even going to read the rest of that because, yeah. Ted Turner is a complete and total moron. And, well, yeah, he married Jane Fonda. Boy, what was he thinking? You know, I mean, seriously, come on. What was he thinking? Seriously. Yeah, there you go. That's true, Sam. The Clinton News Network. Yeah. Remember when Clinton was in office? They pumped him up more than anything. Okay, they just put, Clinton's going to do this. Clinton, and then, you saw what happened after that, right? Anyway, I'm going to talk about this too. Let's get into this after the bottom of the hour break. And we'll get into Oakland County, Michigan defends U.S. Constitution against NDAA. That's from westernjournalism.com. We'll get into, I'll give you my analysis on that and get into that article. We all need to stand up for the Constitution against this tyranny that is currently in America. Under the NDAA, under the almost, I think it's over 300 executive orders that President Obama has signed, including, just a bunch of them. He's just signed a whole bunch of them. And he's basically taking our rights away, and he's basically setting up a dictatorship. Not so much him, but the office of the presidency. He's setting up a dictatorship. So, if by some fluke Romney becomes president, well, there you go. More dictator. This is the first election year that I just feel like I shouldn't even vote. Well, it's all rigged anyway, so why do we vote? You know what I mean? It's all rigged, so it doesn't matter. Romney, by the way, was on Thursday, May 31st, 2012. He was in Chantilly, Virginia at the Bilderberg meeting that was there from May 31st to June 3rd. So, he's pretty much had the blessing of David Rockefeller and the Bilderberg Group to be president of the United States. But is he going to be? I don't know. I guess people like their Obama phones too much. I'm not sure. So this is the views expressed from the Liberty and Freedom Network on Spreaker.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host, Michael Long. The show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a journey into light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/EastlandFilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. You're here listening to the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Yes, I had my cell phone on. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, and it is the 25th of October, 2012. Yes, I put a question up on my Facebook page. How many people are going to wake up on December 22nd, 2012? You know, the whole Mayan calendar thing. What do you think? You think, well, my view of that is, I think it's all hype. That's just me. If there is going to be a change, it's going to be a change of age. The things are going to happen, you know. But then again, I also look back on December 31st, 1999. Remember that? Y2K? Oh my God, things are going to, you know. It didn't happen, did it? We're 12 years after that. I mean, are we doing good or what? I mean, seriously. I do think something is going to happen, but it's not going to be like everybody has hyped it up to be. Okay? If anything, it's going to be, you know, with everything going on in the world right now and all the world leaders and all of the stuff going on, I'm looking for self-fulfilling prophecies from those people. Okay? So that's just mine. Just mine. Yeah, Samo is my cell phone. Oh, by the way, that noise you heard, that was my cell phone. That is the cell phone company pinging the cell phone. By the way, that's also a way to track you. Okay, so your best bet is to turn off your cell phone. Even if you turn it off at night and it's, you know, you got it charged, unless you're charging it, turn it off and take the battery out, because then that way they can't turn it on. If you have a smartphone, or, you know, any phone actually, because they can turn on the mic. Go look at the Telecommunications Act of 1996 and all the amendments after that. I think it's also 2001 and 2004. There's a couple of amendments there to it. Yeah, go check it out. I mean, why not? Going to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Go check out an article as soon as I bring it up here. From westernjournalism.com. Oakland County, Michigan defends U.S. Constitution against NDAA. This was written by, I don't know the author because it doesn't show it unless it's down at the bottom. You know how that goes. Creative Commons. Good, I can read it. It has been said that the key to politics is persistence. In the fight against one of the most draconian laws in history, that persistence has definitely paid off. The National Defense Authorization Act typically funds our national defense, including the military. It has been passed by Congress and signed by the President for 48 years now, while most previous versions have had little to no effect on Americans' liberty or freedom. The 2012 NDAA destroys our Bill of Rights. When the 2012 NDAA was being debated in the U.S. Senate, Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican of South Carolina, said, "Shut up, you don't get a lawyer," when speaking about those detained under those provisions. Senator Graham's statements perfectly summarize the 2012 NDAA, which has been criticized by such a nonpartisan coalition as the Oath Keepers, ACLU, Patriot Coalition, and Senator Jeff Merkley, Democrat of Oregon, and Representative Ron Paul, Republican of Texas, and Cracked magazine, and also the president, and allows the president to order anyone, including a U.S. citizen, to be secretly arrested, never to see their family again, and be held indefinitely without due process of law. Did I mention assassinated? That's what it said in the article. By the way, that would be the NDAA subsection 1021 and 1022. Continuing, Oakland County, Michigan, however, home to over 1.5 million people and sitting in the heart of the southeast Michigan, has been described by groups from the Center for Digital Government and the National Association of Counties as one of the best-run county governments in the nation, and the Oakland County Commissioners proved they have earned that reputation on Thursday. By the way, just to let you know, I forgot to tell you, this was posted yesterday. Okay? Continuing, 2 weeks ago, the General Government Committee of the Oakland County Commission held a hearing to consider the resolution in opposition to the indefinite detention provisions of the NDAA. After hearing from people against the NDAA, Panda National, okay, people against the NDAA, the Michigan 10th Amendment Center, the Michigan Campaign for Liberty, along with individuals such as Anna Janik, Allegan County Commissioner Bill Sage, and congressional candidate Don Valerick, the committee moved to vote on the resolution. The resolution was passed unanimously out of committee with a 9-0 vote. So basically it passed, and this Oakland County, Michigan, said, screw you, President Obama. We're going to do what we want under the Constitution, because that's what they follow. You know, isn't it kind of funny? Well, that's not really funny, haha. It's more like disturbing that the current president, the current regime in Washington, D.C. has in his inner circle, in Obama's inner circle, guess what? Former Goldman Sachs executives. Hello. Did you know that, and I forget the country, so someone's going to have to help me on this one. Several countries overseas somewhere, the leaders of those countries are former Goldman Sachs European, people. Okay? Goldman Sachs, hello. Remember them? Yes, they run the government. By the way, or they run the finances of the government. By the way, did you know that President Obama, just a little side note, has Muslim Brotherhood people in the White House? Did you know that? I'll drink some tea and let you chew on that for a second. Did you know that? Go look it up. I mean, I'm just like relaying this news to you. You know, Liberty and Freedom Network. Go click on the links that are over there and go check this stuff out. I got a whole bunch of stuff. Go look it up. It's all over there. But it's disturbing that we have a president that really doesn't care. He was a what the irony of all this is? You want to know the irony of all this? Didn't President Obama teach the Constitution in Chicago when he was, or before he was state senator? That's the irony. Okay, that is the irony. All right, I don't get it. I'm serious. I don't get it. Why does this guy think he can, take the Constitution and flush it down the toilet when he taught the Constitution? You know why? Because the compelling evidence is this. I'm going to add this and then I'll go on. His real father. Go check out Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert. You can check it out at Infowars.com at the store. His real father is Frank Marshall Davis. Go check that name out too. That's what Joel Gilbert stands on. Okay, that's what the author of this film or documentary stands on. Dreams of My Real Father by Joel Gilbert. He born in Kenya? I look at it this way. I saw what they put out a few years ago, the birth certificate, or last year, and I looked at that and I went, that is so phony. I can tell from a mile away. Okay, seriously. All right, so I don't want to get into that. That's old news. But hey, I do want to go on because I don't have that much time left. Earlier in the first hour, I talked about genetically modified foods. And I talked about that a little bit on a podcast that I did prior to the show. So you might want to check that out too as well. But the naturalsociety.com, this is also, I believe, on naturalnews.com. You can find information about genetically modified food there as well with the health ranger Mike Adams. But from naturalsociety.com, click on the link on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. GM wheat may permanently alter human genome and spark early death. Lisa Garber over there at National Society posted this today. Thank you, Lisa. Experts say that the GM wheat currently in development by an Australian government research agency could, if ingested, shut down certain genes leading to premature death or risk thereof to multiple generations. The GM wheat developed by the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization using public funds, much like they do here, is engineered to turn off genes permanently. The organization's intent to turn off wheat genes, however, could affect human and animal genes. Quote, through ingestion, these molecules can enter human beings and potentially silence our genes, unquote. Professor Jack Heinemann of the University of Canterbury Center of Integrated Research in Biosafety. His report was published in Digital Journal. And since I don't have a whole lot of time, actually, this article is pretty small, so I'll just get through this. Continuing, DNA matches in GM wheat and humans. The wheat genes intended to be silenced are known as SEI, the sequence of which are classified by CSIRO. What experts know about SEI is that parts of it match the human GBE gene sequence. I know, put your thinking caps on, folks, because this is really deep. GBE dictates glycogen storage, without which the liver scars and causes death in children. Adults with malfunctioning GBE genes can experience cognitive impairment, become stupid basically, pyramidal quadriplegia, don't know what that is, peripheral neuropathy, neurogenic bladder, don't know. Quote, the findings are absolutely assured, insists Heinemann. There is no doubt that these matches exist, unquote. Survives digestion, cooking, and generations. Moreover, Heinemann described the double-stranded RNA present in GM wheat as remarkably stable in the environment. It is able to withstand digestion even after cooking, and therefore circulates through the body, where it amplifies into more and different dsRNAs and, quote, alters gene expression in the animal, unquote. These altered genes are passed to later generations, assuming the consumer doesn't die of cancer or liver damage before procreating, seen in the recent GMO French study. Danger is well known by agribusiness. They already know this is a danger, by the way, folks. GM corn and wheat and all that. No doubt, agribusiness will swoop to CSIRO's rescue and claim that Heinemann's findings are irrelevant. Oh, and guess who's backing that one up? Monsanto, however, uses this same tactic in its genetically modified plants. The plants are engineered to produce dsRNA that survives digestion in the insect, shuts down genes, stunts growth, and kills it. This may be welcome news for some, given one biotech scientist email not only acknowledging the risks of disease and reproductive difficulties inherent in GMO consumption, but also praising it as a remedy for global overpopulation. Agribusiness has gone to great lengths to silence skeptics of GMO. The Food and Drug Administration, which abounds in ties to agribusiness, deleted 1 million signatures for a GMO labeling campaign. Monsanto has been burning millions of dollars to campaign against GMO labeling. Depending on the poll, about 93% of Americans advocate GMO labeling. Okay? Yeah. Monsanto in bed with Big Agra because they're part of it. And guess what? Guess who funds? Guess who? Has stock in Monsanto. Yes, wonderful former software architect Bill Gates of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And guess what? They all want to depopulate the earth. This is why they're doing it. They're all eugenicists. By the way, Bill Gates' father, Bill Gates Sr., was for a little while the head of Planned Parenthood, which, of course, was under another name by Margaret Sanger, who literally in her writings said that she wanted to get rid of, she formed the organization to do what they do now, to get rid of black babies. That's what Margaret Sanger said years ago when she set up the whole, I forget the name of the organization, but it later became Planned Parenthood. Go look it up. You think I'm nuts? You go, seriously, this stuff is out there. But anyway, hey, we got 10 minutes left, and I don't have enough time to get into another article. Now, I just want to say, Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook has a couple of articles I wanted to get into, but you know me, I start talking, just can't stop. There's a couple of videos that you need to go take a look at if you'd like. One is called Am I Free to Go? Check that one out. Also, from Truth Beckons, there's a video up there that says How They Fake Terrorism, Manufactured Fear. So they got that one. And also Boston police accused of spying on protesters and intimidating dissidents. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, go check that out. Also, HR, you might want to go to your search engine and type in HR 645. HR 645. And check that out. Also, if you're on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, keep scrolling, man, because, yeah. Louisiana residents soon may need a passport for air travel, even domestic. By the way, folks, that was set up many, many years ago in Nazi Germany. You couldn't move anywhere without having papers. Papers, please? By the way, scroll on down and you will find what's really in vaccines. Proof of MSG, formaldehyde, aluminum, and mercury. Go check that out. That's from worldtruth.tv. And it's always good to see what's in your vaccines. Executive orders. If you're on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook, scroll on down a little further and go to Executive Order 13603, National Defense Resources Preparedness. Check that one out. President Obama signed that this year. Also, hey, you live in Oregon? You got family in Oregon? Because now the Oregon State says Oregon claims state ownership over rainwater. Yeah, the stuff that falls on top of your house out of the sky. Yeah, so if you put up a little thing out there to catch the rainwater, no, you can't do that now. The state of Oregon now owns it, so you're in violation of the law. Also, Democrat boss caught on video planning vote fraud. That's from AmericanThinker.com. Oh, here's something outrageous. UN troops are being brought in to, quote unquote, poll watch at our sovereign U.S. elections. They have no business here. If this doesn't tick you off at the deepest possible level, you don't get it yet. That's a picture there on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. I doubled up on a lot of the pictures. Of course, U.S. boss or U.S. bank boss jailed for 2 years. Hungary is rioting and protesting. There's thousands of people out in the streets in Hungary and all of that. And it's getting really, really bad, folks. It's getting really bad. And what do we do? Do we sit in our house and just say, well, no. No. We have to do what we have to do. And we have to defend ourselves. I really believe that. I really believe that we have to get up and start defending ourselves. I really do. And we need to look at the Constitution. We need to read it and say, okay, wait a minute. This is how our founding fathers wanted this country to be. The rule of law is the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. That's the rule of law. All these other states that have their own little state constitution, they mirror the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. What these states have to do and what you people have to do is demand your leaders to stand on the 10th Amendment of the Bill of Rights and say, if our government, if Washington, D.C. is not doing what we want, and if they are outside of the law, which is the Constitution, we are seceding from the rest of the Union. Period. Hey, did you know that we had 2 presidents here at one point in the United States? Yeah. Go back and check the Civil War. Yeah. Jefferson Davis, President of the South, and Abraham Lincoln, President of the North. Go check it out. Yeah. What makes you think that none of that won't happen? What makes you think that a revolution in this country won't happen? And it literally will be us against them. Because, folks, Washington, D.C. is in complete treason against the Constitution, has committed treason against the Constitution. They are against sovereignty and liberty in this country, and they want to enslave us. In my book, folks, 2 and 2 still makes 4. I don't know about your book, but you know what I'm saying? So anyway. Hey, we got 4 minutes. I want to direct your attention to Sam O Radio right there on Spreaker.com. Check that out. If you want to email him, go ahead. He does take requests on his show. Awesome music, too. Plays everything. I mean, you name it, he plays it. Unlike Doc FM, who won't play country, which I don't like anyway. But, so anyway, we're going to get out of here. Going to leave a little bit early. It's called dinner, folks. I got to eat at some point. But hey, tomorrow, let me tell you what's happening tomorrow and next week. Tomorrow we have Angel Clark from the Angel Clark Show, radiofreedom.us, SussexCountyAngel.com. We have her for about a half hour tomorrow. Also on October 29th, on Monday, we have a very special broadcast later on, around 7 p.m. Pacific. We will have author Marie D. Jones on, and I'll be talking to her about her book, and we'll go from there. Next week, of course, tomorrow, Open Forum Friday. How to get a hold of me? Skype. Go to contacts. You put in ULC Rev 62. Check that out, and I'll accept that. Also, that's how you get a hold of me for tomorrow. Yeah. Not going to repeat that, Sam, but yes, that's funny. I like that. Anyway, if you want to show up tomorrow, I will have a way for you to call in and to air your views and tell me what's on your mind as well. But we will have Angel Clark from the Angel Clark Show tomorrow for about a half hour, getting her view on what's happening in the world. And I'll tell you what, it's been fun. It's always fun. Thank you, Samo. Thank you for dropping by and checking out the show. Always appreciate your support. Matthew, if you're gone, hey, have a nice weekend. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for all the listeners. I appreciate it very, very much. Go to the website. Help out if you can. And it's always good to hear from you. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. You've been listening to the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting on Spreaker.com. It's always good to be here, and Spreaker's awesome. And if you got a show idea, just go to Spreaker.com, check out their plans. Something will fit your budget. Remember this, I'm here Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Yes. And guess what? We the people have the power, for we are America. Good night.